So this is Ari Dego. He patented technology on free energy. He was headed to the airport to go meet some investors, but he never made it to his flight because he was found dead in his car. That's random. This is Stefan Marinov. He is the leader of the European free energy movement. In 1997, he had a major breakthrough, and as they were working on their prototype, he was found dead. What? Yeah, apparently he fell out of a window. This is Dr. John Mullen. He is a nuclear physicist that worked for one of the largest military contractors in the world. Apparently, he discovered something really big in the realm of energy, but unfortunately, before he could come out with this information, he died from arsenic poisoning. But don't worry, his girlfriend was the primary suspect. She was actually found dead in her apartment as well. They didn't go after any other suspects. Case closed. This right here is Dmitry Petronov. He invented a plasma battery that powered his two-story house for 14 months. One day he went to go get bread from a bakery and was never seen again. Zachary Warfield was also working on a plasma battery. He actually met with Dmitry a couple of times where they would exchange notes. He mysteriously died in a boating accident in Washington, D.C. Eugene Milov was an expert physicist in cold fusion. He claimed to have a working prototype of a free energy device, but the day before he was going to go public, he was beaten to death. That's so random. Rory Johnson invented a cold fusion motor that generated over 500 horsepower. The Department of Energy took a restraining order against the technology so he could never publicize it, and you're never going to guess what happened to him. Everyone who knew him said he was super healthy, had no health issues, but he died mysteriously. Mark Tomian was awarded a patent for a zero-point energy system. After he developed his working prototype, he was found mysteriously dead, and the crazy thing is, his research is missing. What? Or you might recognize this one. This is Stan Thompson. He developed a car that ran off of water. After developing his working prototype, he went to go to lunch with 2 investors so that he could gain money to push this technology out there. He died during lunch. His last words were, "I've been poisoned." Nikola Tesla believed he could make free energy. And all of his research was funded by, guess who? JP Morgan. When he claimed to have figured it out and he wanted additional capital so that he could expand his inventions, JP Morgan shut him down. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that JP Morgan owned General Electric, he owned copper mines, he owned rubber mills.
The Invention Secrecy Act allows the United States government to classify ideas and patents under secrecy orders which indefinitely restrict public knowledge of them. The government gave itself the authority and power to classify ideas. The law applies to all inventions in the United States, regardless of what the idea or invention is, if a patent is applied for or granted. All patents filed within the United States are required to be reviewed. Any federal government agency with classifying powers may request any patent be restricted under Invention Secrecy Act. So let's talk about who might be those government agencies who have classifying powers. Well, the DoD, Department of Defense, that includes the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, now the Space Force, the Central Intelligence Agency, the National Security Agency, the Department of Homeland, the Department of Energy, the FBI, the Department of State, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, Department of Justice. So you have it pretty much everybody that oversees anything of any significance in this nation has the power to classify under the Invention Secrecy Act. Ideas restricted by the Invention Secrecy Act's secrecy orders can be prohibited from any public disclosure, sales to any party except the United States military industry. Any appeals are limited to the United States federal agency that itself restricted the idea. A declassified document from January 1971, the Patent Security Category Review List, lists the categories of all inventions that the United States Patent Office would refer to the Armed Services Patent Advisory Board for consideration of becoming classified under the Invention Secrecy Act. The high-level categories of inventions from 1971, which can be forcibly classified, are listed as the following, and each section includes an expansive spectrum of topics beneath. So we're going to look at what categories can be classified in terms of inventions and ideas. So amplifiers, recorders, sensors, and electronic tubes. This is interesting, that there is a need to classify top secret amplifiers and recorders, yet they put it there. Computers, so which also means that whatever technology we have available in our computers is most likely not even a fraction of what truly is available, because most of it probably gets classified and only used by government agencies and the military. Concealment, communications, countermeasures, and countermeasures. I get that. Contracts. This was a peculiar one. So if you have any ideas or inventions around contracts, then that might fall under the Secrecy Act, and those ideas might be classified secret. Very strange. Of course, explosibles and flammables, don't get me wrong, but then it gets really strange. Mapping, charting, and geodesy. What could possibly be so dangerous about mapping, charting, and geodesy? What is geodesy? Geodesy is the science of measuring and understanding the Earth's shape, size, orientation in space, and gravity field. This is sort of very peculiar and interesting. So they say that they have the right to classify any inventions and ideas that pertain to geodesy, the science of measuring and understanding the Earth's shape, size, gravitation in space, positioning in space, and so forth, but not just the Earth, but other planets too. Now I'm asking you, how could that be dangerous to national security? Military photography, missiles, navigation equipment, that's another one that's strange to me. Why you would have to classify navigation equipment? What danger could that possess or pose? Power supply and propulsion systems, propellants and fuels, and vehicles. So these are extremely potent categories, right? But let's look a little bit further here. As of 1971, a list of restricted technologies included solar photovoltaic generators with efficiencies above 20%. So if you develop a solar generator that has a higher efficiency than 20%, then this would be deemed a restricted technology under the Invention Secrecy Act. Energy conversion systems with conversion efficiencies exceeding 70 to 80% were also subject to review and potential restriction. The exact criteria for screening patent applications under the ISA, the Invention Security Act, remain classified and have been denied under the Freedom of Information Act. If we can make power production efficient or conversion beyond the 70 to 80% range, we're not going to roll this out to every household. We're not going to let the people know. We're not going to let humanity know. No, we're going to classify it and suppress it.